Welcome everybody. Today, as you can see, I have myself a fancy microphone. So now I am professional at making videos. What I want to talk about today was prepping these beds for the fall and the winter. As you might be able to see here, I have turmeric that I planted here that I got from the Indiana Organic Gardeners plant sale. Some of this other stuff though, I planted tomatoes, some melons, zucchini, and some other things. Like right here, I planted a sweet passion melon, but the problem was I have a lot of different critters around, chipmunks, rabbits, I have huge groundhogs. And the ultimate plan is to actually fence this around, and I'll show you that fencing. But what I wanted to do was basically I want to chop down all of this that's in here. I'm going to leave the turmeric exactly how it is, but a lot of this creeping Charlie, we're going to at least cut the heads off of all that. And some of these extra grasses that are in here. And I'm just going to grab some straw and just cover the beds with it to overwinter. And then sometime early in the spring, I'll actually be doing that fencing, but I wanted to show you that fencing so you can see. Just so you see also, right here, of course we have random maple trees that are coming up, which I really hate to cut down any trees. I'm gonna let this one go, but this one I'm gonna actually chop down at ground level. Because I'm actually going to use it for veggies and I don't need a tree in the middle of it. However, this one I will let it grow just to see. What I tried to do is I tried to practice what's called like minimal interference gardening. So I want to add things to the property, but I don't want to take away. I don't want to adjust too much. I don't want to trim too much. There's all sorts of maple trees and walnut trees, mulberry trees that are popping up on their own. And I don't want to manage these things at such a micro level, because who is it for me to like say that, well, that maple tree just isn't the best there. This one, for the small areas that I prepare just for vegetable gardening, sure, because they're annuals, I don't want to mess with all that. But most of my stuff is perennial anyways. So if other perennials want to jump up that can provide berries or maple syrup in the future, I'll let it go. Also, right here you can see, and hopefully I'll learn how to zoom in on the video, but I have these walking onions, and they have these heads on them, and they're already starting to sprout. And what these do is they over the winter, they'll fall down, and they'll actually plant themselves, which is really awesome. So all this will multiply. These are all old shoots. And there's new green ones coming up. And what you can do with these, you can eat them just like any other green onion, just like a chive. Still good. Yeah, I can take these in right now, chop it up, and put it in whatever I wanted to. It's just at the end of the life cycle, they put on these bulb sets, which will replant. You can also take these off and cut them up just like a regular head of onion, like you would normally like a white or a yellow onion. So once I'm done eating my onion, I'll move the camera and I'll show you how I trim all this stuff down. All right, so most of what I do, I use a little baby shovel for all my planting, and I use a rice knife for all my cutting. Yeah, you can see all this already broken off from the plant itself, which is fine. Most of this I am going to end up chopping down to the ground, and I'll be putting it back onto the bed. Some of this stuff still has seeds on it. You can see here the seeds that are on there. So we're going to remove all that. That'll go into the compost bin. However, a lot of this stuff that's, especially this creeping Charlie, I'm not going to be able to get rid of it, but I can use it as food for the soil and then cover it. It'll be good, because what I'm going to do in here, I'm not going to be planting anything from seed in here. I do plan on starting a few different plants from seed inside this year, and then there's some that I'll actually buy from that Indiana Organic Gardener sale, because they have such a great selection of stuff. I don't just want to cut a lot of this stuff off that will hurry it up decomposing. I don't really want to mess with hurting the soil, messing up the soil at all. Just a lot of this green stuff, because I'm going to end up covering this whole thing to the edge here, the next 3-4 inches with straw. You see here, if you know what this is, I'd really like to know. I want to say it was a plant that I tried to grow, but it kept getting eaten by rabbits or whatever it is. If it's actually an actual valuable plant, it'd be nice if I knew that. However, I'm not sure. I've never seen it anywhere else, and I'm not sure if that was a snake. I'm not sure if I should really try to remove it from this place. What I'm hoping is I'll be able to snuff enough of this out, and in the winter, a lot of this material will break down and create new soil. And then when I come in with plants and seedlings, I will be able to just be able to plant straight in, and I'll be able to identify, of course, the new plants I put in, and that it'll all be protected by that new fencing. There are just a couple more cuts. This is not when I first got into gardening, this is definitely not the stuff that I saw on YouTube. I grew up thinking that gardening was to just rip all this stuff out, throw it, put in new soil, maybe rip all this stuff out and just till it until it was all just dirt. And then in the spring, it would all be just fresh dirt, and then you'd plant into it. What we're trying to do here is all of this biomass, we want this to stay here, but we want it to break down and create the new soil. So what we need to do is we need to insulate it with all that straw, which will keep everything down here moist, which will hasten up the decomposition. So in this bed, I'm going to have to really put a lot of straw in here. And we're just mimicking natural processes. All this came from the earth and will return to the earth. And this is a test for me to see how effective it is. One of the reasons why I make videos, also other than keeping in contact with my children, my family, is for me to be able to look back and go, okay, so that's how much of that plant material I really cut up. That's how deep I covered it with the straw, okay. So that next year, I will know from experience, because it's very hard to remember everything that goes on in a day, much less from a year ago. Oop, yeah. This creeping Charlie. If you want to fix your soil erosion problems, you just get some creeping Charlie to grow. In fact, if you disturb the soil at all, creeping Charlie will probably just help you put it back together again. That's Part of what nature does. This plant's designed specifically, it seems, to hold soils together. What I'm just trying to do here is I'm not trying to pull the creeping Charlie out. What I'm trying to do is just break off the main leaves and the main pathways, just so it's not such a mat. There's a tag of something, I don't remember what. Like I said, we will be cutting this tree. If it wants to cut, and we just toss it randomly. I wanted to change the angle because now they have a microphone and a tripod. I'm now a professional YouTuber, but it helps a lot. It's nice to have a tripod so I can use both hands, and then hopefully you can see better what I'm doing. I'm more trying to just kind of break all those pathways up because it's a ground cover, so it's trying to weave itself to hold the soil together on a macro scale, where this is where I put these sweet passion. That sweet passion actually got to be like this big, and it got carried away right as it was ripening. I saw it one day, I was like, man, I should really grab it. And next day my mom came out and said, nope, it's been carried off with something. It was pretty heavy. I couldn't, maybe 2 squirrels worked hand in hand to carry that melon away. I don't know. Kind of funny to even think that squirrels would team up to carry a melon away, but I suppose one of the groundhogs probably got it. And we want it to be even coverage, and it's going to be dense. The hope is this will be so thick it'll trap in the moisture, break down what's underneath the straw. Come in next spring, just move the straw, just plant straight in. So here is that raised bed, all covered in straw for the winter. And I made it extremely thick here. It's very thick. So that's it for that. That's it for me today, at least for recording. I do have another little bed that I'm going to do real quick. But I just want to keep you informed. Also, I'm up to 94 subscribers. So if you're still watching this video at the end here, please subscribe. Now that I'm all fancy with my